Hey, good day everyone. For today, I will be discussing about the milking procedures and then yung mga processes niya. Pag sinabi natin na milking, so usually this is yung actual na pag-remove, yung actual na removal ng milk from the other or yung sa mismong suso ng isang dairy animal. So parang sinasabi natin na this is essentially yung final harvest mismo ng isang milk crop that usually determines whether or not a specific dairy animal or a specific herd is profitable. So parang kumbaga, if i-align natin sa mga vegetables, so parang yun yung harvest season. So parang ganito lang din when it comes sa dairy production natin. So this is yung parang harvest season din natin ng mga animal raisers, most specifically sa mga dairy animals. Kasi doon mo maa-assess if that specific animal, just for example, a breed of cattle which is kumbaga si Holstein. Okay? So doon mo i-assess if your specific animal na Holstein is profitable or not. Para kung sakali na hindi man or mababa yung milk production niya, then you have the clue already, you have the decision if you want to cull that one in your specific herd. Okay? So yun yung purpose din ng milking in order for us to assess if that animal or that specific herd is profitable for us as animal raisers. Okay? So, more importantly, the procedures and the practices associated with milking the dairy animal are yun yung pinaka-critical na in the harvesting process to fully complement of that milk that the animal has produced and uh, being stored. So usually there are three methods or ways in milking. Pero before that one, I have a question. Why do we need to follow a proper milking technique? Bakit kailangan na merong proper milking technique at hindi na lang basta gatasan mo yung isang animal and that's it? Kasi usually pag finalo natin yung proper na milking technique, it greatly influences yung mismong milk yield. That is number one. It influences yung milk yield, yung other health, okay, yung mismong suso ng animal kasi syempre if you follow that specific or standard na procedure and how to milk an animal, then it will help it also yung mismong health ng dairy animal specifically sa other. Okay? So kumbaga hindi maganda or improper yung pag-milking mo, then that will cause a specific pain or effect doon sa mismong animal. Okay? So, we have number two, yun na yung other health. And then number three, we have the milking time or yung milking interval. So, kumbaga, ginatasan mo yung animal mo ngayon, ano naman or kailan mo ulit gagatasan? Or on the other hand, gaano ka tagal yung paggagatas mo dapat sa isang dairy animal. Okay? So, etong tatlong to, it influences the milk yield, the other health, and then the milking time. These factors are very important for an economically milk production. Kaya lahat tayo, mga dairy raisers, yung mga milkers must adopt yung correct na or proper na milking practices. And yung good milking procedures usually include the following. We have a regular interval, a fast and gentle and complete milking and sanitation. Regular interval in the sense na just what I have said kanina, kung ano man yung oras, no, kumbaga naggatas ka kaninang umaga, dapat ganun din or you will count a specific hour, a recommended hour na milking interval para kung kailan ka ulit maggagatas doon sa dairy animal. Yun yung tinatawag natin na regular interval. Okay? So going back to the presentation, there are three ways of milking. We have the suckling, the hand milking, tsaka yung machine milking. So all of these three, si suckling yung fastest means of removing milk from the udder. Okay, so of course, this is through the use of the young. And papaano yung milk ejection when it comes to suckling? Usually, there are two pressures here. We have a negative and then yung positive na pressure. So pag sinabi natin na negative pressure, yung milk ejection is usually being accomplished by a negative pressure doon sa mouth mismo ng sususo na animal. Through, of course, pag widen niya yung jaws niya, okay, pag na-widen yung jaws niya, and then there is a retraction of the tongue. So in this case now, in this action, it causes now yung strict canal mismo to open, and that time yung mismong milk from the other will be released. Okay? So that is for a negative pressure. Now, how about for a positive pressure? So kapag 'di ba sinuso na niya, sinak na niya yung mismong gatas sa other, ang gagawin naman niya, it will the calf or yung mismong young will swallow yung mismong gatas na nasak niya from the other. So that is a positive pressure already. So doon na mag-a-act as a resting and a massage phase for the teeth mismo ng animal. Okay? So that is for suckling. And then second way is hand milking. So usually this is widely used in backyard farming and sa mga lesser na developed na countries, just for example sa atin, sa Philippines. So, eto yung mismong practical na ginagawa ng karamihan ng mga dairy raisers natin. So, we have the hand milking. And through this method, mas madami yung gatas na nakukuha natin when we compare it sa machine milking. Kasi dito talagang, kumbaga sa Ilocano, mapuspus anasaya at DJ mismo nga gatas from this one when we compare sa machine na doon sa vacuum siya. Okay? So, ang difference lang naman when we compare yung hand milking tsaka yung machine milking, si hand milking that is for tawag nito is smaller na operation, and then yung machine milking that is for a large scale operation. So dito pala sa hand milking, it is recommended na kapag maliit yung herd, okay, pag maliit yung herd size, usually around mga 10 na or 10 or less na dairy animals, doon applicable si hand milking. Pero kapag mas marami, then of course that will now be the time that machine milking will be practiced. Okay, so this is the suggested milking machine based on the cow's line. So I have retrieved this one from a specific book. So although as Madam said kanina, iba yung 10 or less, no, that is hand milking, pero as much as possible ganun lang yung mismong range para hindi masyadong mahirapan yung paggagatas natin. Okay? So, basahin nyo na lang when it comes doon sa number of dairy animals natin, yung type of milking machine, and then yung number of milking chutes, okay, yung kung saan yung mismong stall, and then yung milking time tsaka yung hours, okay? Now, there are preparations also for milking. Okay, there are 4. We have the preparation ng milker. So, syempre, yung health tsaka yung cleanliness ng mga milkers natin. Okay, those are the important considerations for us to ensure a safe, and then there is a sanitation, and there is a good quality of milk that will be produced. Okay, so, hindi lang yan, it will also affect yung mismong handling tsaka yung mismong processing. Then aside from the preparation ng mismong milker, yung qualities niya mismo as a good milker will be considered also. So syempre, kailangan healthy siya. So of course, that should be clean. So hygienic yung mismong milker. Friendly sa mga animals kasi just for example, if wala siyang pasensya, then pwede siyang ilabas niya yung mismong behavior niya or yung bad behavior that would affect already later on doon sa paggagatas niya. And good milking techniques. Kailangan meron siyang good milking techniques kasi kahit um, you are healthy, you are clean, but then you do not possess yung mismong technicalities, no, yung technical know-how ng isang good milker, parang balewala lang. Okay? So kailangan meron kang good milking techniques, and then there is an excellent application ng mismong milking procedure. Okay? And then number three, yung attire and preparation ng milker. So syempre, you need to wear a clean and proper attire for milking. So very important dito na as a good milker, you should wash your hands with soap and clean water. Okay? Para kahit papaano maiwasan natin yung pag-transfer ng mga communicable diseases. Okay? And then number four, frequency of milking. So this is a very important consideration in preparation for milking. So kumbaga, yung isang dairy animal natin is being milked regularly. So early in the morning and late in the afternoon. So yung set time of milking should be followed religiously. Okay, so yung recommended, just jot it down, the recommended interval between milking that is 10 to 12 hours. So for example, if the set time for morning milking is around 4 a.m., so yung afternoon schedule mo should be around 4 p.m. and should be followed religiously. Pag sinabing religiously, kung at the very first time, no, at the very first time na naggatas ka sa isang dairy animal, ganon siya all throughout yung mismong lactation process. Okay? Kung 4 a.m. and then 4 p.m., ganon all throughout para hindi manibago yung mismong animal. Now, there are also tips in milking. So we have one, get the dairy animals in the proper mood for milking. So iwasan natin na merong disturbances, no? So we need to keep yung mismong milking parlor. Sa ang tawag kasi natin sa milking stall ng milk production, that is milking parlor. Okay? So we need to be quiet. So we need to avoid very loud noise. So if there will be a time na pupunta na kayo sa PCC, you should follow this one in order na hindi maapektuhan yung mga dairy animals natin. And upon milking, do not allow visitors inside the parlor during milking procedures. That is very important one kasi it might affect later on yung mismong concentration ng milker and at the same time yung concentration ng dairy animal. So kumbaga very loud yung mismong mga visitors, then that would affect later on. So sa mga other farms, no, yung mga large scale na operations, usually nagpapatugtog sila ng soft music para ma-relax yung mga animals. That is one tip also. Okay? And it says here that cows are habit forming, thus they tend to stick to routine. So meaning to say, meron silang habit forming. So parang masasanay sila sa isang specific na process. So kumbaga yung milking stall na pinuntahan niya, this is applicable sa mga milking machines app. And then of course, siguro kapag marami sila, just for example around 10, so meron silang specific na place. So kung ano yung milking stall niya at the very first time, dun at dun pa din siya pupunta. Okay, kailangan na dun at dun pa din siya pupunta. And ang practice ng iba, parang binibigyan nila ng pabuya. So before na mag-milk, no? Before na mag-milk yung animal or before na magatasan yung animal, usually binibigyan nila ng concentrates. Okay? They offer it first doon sa mga feed banks before leading the cows to the milking parlor. Parang kumbaga this is applicable sa mga pets natin, sa mga alaga natin. Just for example, if they did yung gusto natin na gawin nila, so binibigyan natin sila ng treats. So parang ganito lang din sa mga dairy animals natin. Okay? And yung manner ng milking should be observed consistently throughout the lactation period ng bawat na dairy animal. So for example, if cow number 1 it started yung lactation niya using a milking machine, it should finish yung lactation niya using the same na way of milking. So kung milking machine siya at the very first time hanggang matapos siya, milking machine pa din. Do not switch to hand milking kasi maninibago yan later on. Okay? Now, these are the milking procedures for hand milking. So first one, of course, you need to wash and sanitize the milk pills. Ang milk pills natin, yun yung mga timba. Okay, na paglalagyan later on ng mismong milk. Yung mga stainless steel na kulay gray, those are the milking pails na tinatawag natin. Okay? So you need to wash the animals thoroughly, especially doon sa kanyang teats. And then yung other, and then yung hindquarters. Ang teats, that is yung parang pinaka-nipple lang. Ang other, that is yung kabuuan. And then of course, the hindquarter. Kasi syempre, lalo na if nahigayan or nahiga sa flooring, tapos nahigaan niya yung tae niya, then that will affect later on if merong nalaglag dito sa hindquarter na some sort of driplings, parang ganun. So you need to wash also hindi lang yung teeth, hindi lang yung other, but also with the hindquarter. Okay? And kailangan ang pagpunas dito or ang pagsabon dito, do not use sponge in washing etong mga others. Kailangan cloth ito na dip sa 5% na chlorine solution. Okay? Bakit kailangan? Aside from cleanliness, ang washing also ng other, it usually stimulates yung milk letdown. Okay? Yung mismong paglabas ng gatas sa kanyang mammary gland, that will also stimulate through the process of washing. Okay? So after thoroughly washing the animal and then the equipment, of course, the milker should wash his hands also with soap and water para ma-avoid siya or para ma-avoid yung mga animals to some any communicable diseases or yung mismong open cuts natin. Okay? So kailangan as a milker, it is not allowed na meron kang open wounds. Kailangan wala kang open wounds pag naglagay ka ng or pag naggatas ka. Kasi later on, if nalagay yung gatas sa iyong wound, tapos tumilapon doon sa milking pail, then that will already cause some impurities later on sa mismong milk. Okay? And then after that one, so tapos na, syempre pupunasan mo din yan para maging dry. And after that one, you need to strip now. Strip the teats para ma-determine mo if merong mastitis. So, pisitom detoy mismo nga teats na, and then try to merong mga droplets. So titignan mo na yon yung mga first 3 or 4 na streams, yung first to 3 na patak ng mismong milk, you need to examine that one. Okay, you need to examine that one for any abnormalities when it comes to appearance and consistency. Okay? So appearance and consistency. Usually kasi ang mastitis, yung gatas ng isang animal na merong mastitis, nagiging flaky or nagiging stingy yung milk mismo. And in some cases, there are presence of blood clots. Okay? So always ninyong tatandaan na any milk na showing yung mismong flaky or stingy tsaka yung blood clots, it should not be allowed to be marketed as for human consumption. Hindi pwede yun kasi that is already an abnormal na milk. Okay? So hindi siya pwede for human consumption. So kapag everything is set already, na-test na natin, nalinisan na natin, na-test na natin for mastitis, ang susunod mo nang gawin is you need now to start milking. And always take note that around 5 to 7 minutes lang yung milking process. Hanggang doon lang. I will try to discuss that one later on kung bakit hanggang 5 to 7 minutes lang. So una, you grasp the teeth, then close yung mismong thumb mo and yung first finger around the teeth to prevent yung milk na mag-flow back doon sa other. Okay? Yun yung unang gagawin mo after if you are already set for milking. So, second one, you need to close the second finger followed by the third finger. And then, after that one, so second and third na finger, you need to apply a steady pressure. Okay? Para hindi mag-flow back. Do not jerk it down. Okay? Do not jerk it down, yung mismong teeth. So, kailangan a slide upward na push ng teeth. Yun yung kailangan na gawin. Okay? Slight na upward push. Yung pagpisil ng mismong suso. And then close the little finger and squeeze with the entire hand until the milk will come out. And then after that one, you need to release. Okay? You need to release the pressure on the teeth and you need to open your finger so that yung mismong teeth will refill yung mismong milk again. Okay? And just repeat the process with the other hand doon sa mga other na teeth mismo and continue milking alternately until kokonti na lang yung gatas na lalabas sa mismong teeth. So kapag when all the milk has been apparently produced by straightforward milking, so slide the fingers now up back of the other. Then with a gentle kneading motion na downward, work in the fingers from the top of the other to the top of the teeth. So 5 seconds of kneading may bring out whatever na little na droplings, okay, from the teeth mismo. And then after milking, after 5 to 7 minutes, then you need to dip yung mismong teeth sa chlorine solution para kahit papaano tawag nito matanggal yung any microorganisms kung meron man from the teeth para kahit papaano malinis siya after milking. Now for the machine milking, that is for hand milking. For the machine milking, yung mismong machine ang common scenario is yung mismong machine will suck the milk by constant vacuum and they convey it to a suitable container or pipeline. So it also squeezes the milk periodically to maintain yung normal na blood circulation. So for attachment, gaya dito, you need to attach the teeth cups. Teeth cups ang tawag dito. You need to attach the teeth cups 1 minute after starting the preparation. So before that one pala, yung mga preparatory na procedures that I have discussed from the hand milking should be followed also here in machine milking. Okay? So after that one, attach the machine properly already. And then you need to hold the milk claw in the hand nearest to the cow's head. Okay? And then you need to push up the shut-off valve with one finger and then attach the teeth cup to the farthest teeth with the other hand. And do not forget to maintain the S-bend in the milk tube so that walang air na masasak ng vacuum system. Pero ang question siguro, papaano if medyo malaki yung mismong udder? So ang nangyayari dyan, you need to hold yung mismong teeth cups gathered in one hand so that yung mismong dirt is not sucked up from the floor. Now, bakit 5 to 7 minutes yung kailangan na milking time? Kasi yung oxytocin mismo na kakaroon na ng nawawalan na siya ng effect after 5 to 7 minutes. Okay? Yun yung mismong dahilan. Nawawala na yung oxytocin after 5 to 7 minutes na milking. That is why that is yung recommended na milking time only. And syempre kapag in-overmilk mo yan, overmilking usually increases the risk ng other injuries and infections. Okay? So just like from hand milking, you need to sanitize also with chlorine solution. Now, in order for us to produce a quality milk, there are specific factors, no? And usually, ang mastitis, that is the most important herd health problem. Take note of that. Mastitis is the most important herd health problem when it comes to dairy animals. And the production of quality milk usually begins, of course, within the farm. So every dairy farmer must produce a safe, a sanitary, and wholesome and palatable na milk. And to ensure this one, a constant attention to details in all phases ng herd management program should be imperative. And there are factors, so for example, healthy animals. Ang pinaka-common dito, kailangan yung mismong animal mo or yung mismong herd mo should be free from tuberculosis and brucellosis. Okay? Kasi those are major diseases that are very common when it comes to dairy animals. Brucellosis and then tuberculosis. So kailangan para ma-ensure natin that they are free from these diseases, they should be tested from this one, lalong-lalo na yung brucellosis, that is contagious abortion. So at least every year, merong test dito. Okay? And of course, if merong nag-react or merong infected dito, they should be separated from the milking herd already. And kapag naman introduce ka ng bagong animal, then of course, just follow yung mismong quarantine procedure and quarantine period before na i-involve mo sila doon sa mismong herd mo. Okay? And then clean cow. So, syempre, kailangan na you need to groom the cows daily para kahit papaano ay maging quality also yung milk na mapoproduce. And healthy and clean na handler. So I have already discussed this one already. So dapat kahit yung handler ay walang communicable diseases. Just for example, yung tuberculosis, yung typhoid fever, and so on. Okay? And then clean and sanitary utensils. So yung mga gagamitin mo na equipment, na mga tools, in hand milking man yan or in milking machine man yan, they should be in clean and sanitary. Okay? And then yung housing mo, of course, should be clean also, properly ventilated, meron siyang good na drainage, and so on. And then, dapat wala din siyang flies na nandoon kasi yung mga flies naman, they are major carriers, no? Ng mga microorganisms. And etong milk contamination, we need to minimize yung pag-transfer ng milk from one container to another. Okay? So milk contamination yan. And then prompt cooling, if yung gatas naman is not intended for processing immediately, then at least cool yung mismong na-collect na milk at 5 degrees Celsius. Okay? And then milk tains, eto naman milk tains, eto yung mga milk na makakapag-absorb. Kasi although kahit ano naman na milk, basta merong off na flavor, or off na odor doon sa mismong farm mo. Just for example, silage, no? If meron kang silage, tapos malapit ka doon sa pinaggagatasan mo, yung mismong amoy ng silage could be transferred doon sa gatas. Okay? So that is milk taint. And then of course, fly control. We need to control the flies, of course, through proper manure disposal and sanitary practices. Now, there are specific milk flavors in order for us to identify. Okay, number one is the feed and wheat flavor. So, eto na yung sinasabi ko kanina na one good example is yung silage. And then yung oxidized flavor, sometimes we call this one as cardboard flavor. Kasi ang usual na nagkukos nito is yung mga metallic na contaminations from from copper and iron. Okay? So kailangan dito for oxidized flavor, based on studies that I have read for it in preparation for this lecture, pag pinakain mo daw ng vitamin E, merong oral na vitamin E supplementation doon sa diet nila, it could consistently increase yung oxidation resistance ng mga isolated na lipoproteins doon sa milk mismo. Kasi syempre yung mismong milk itself, meron yan fat, meron din yang protein. So yung mga lipoproteins daw, they are resistant to oxidation. So that would being helped by the oral na vitamin E supplementation. And then number 3, we have the rancid flavor. So this is caused by a breakdown ng butterfat. Okay, that is for rancid flavor. So nagre-release sila ng strong na flavored na fatty acids. So of course, etong mismong effect na to is being caused by the enzyme na lipase, which is present in all milk. So yung primary cause ng rancid milk usually ay yung pag nagiging excessive na agitation ng milk and yung mismong slow cooling ng foaming. So meron tayong tinatawag na foaming machine. Just search it down in the internet. Merong foaming machine. So pag slow daw, pag mabagal daw masyado yung pag-foam niya, that will affect or that will give a rancid flavor. And then yung Barney naman, ito naman yung flavor ng milk na ang main reason ay yung mga dirty na tables, yung poor ventilation, syempre unclean na milking, and hindi din malinis na mga cows. Okay? So sila yung mga nag-alleviate para magkaroon ng Barney. And then yung pinaka-important one dito is yung salty. Kasi kapag nalasahan mo na yung collected na milk and salty siya, most probably this is being caused by mastitis. Okay? Kasi minamas out ng salty flavor yung mismong natural na sweetness ng mismong milk. Okay? And of course, a great consideration for this one, do not market, do not sell a milk that is being infected by mastitis. Ang multi-flavor naman, primarily, this is being caused by high bacteria count. Okay? So, ang remedy dito is to keep yung bacteria out of the milk as much as possible and to prevent yung mismong growth ng bacteria sa milk. Okay? So, ano yung pwede nating remedy dito? Is for rapid cooling. Okay? That will eliminate yung multi-flavor. And then number 7, we have the high acid sour milk. So, ganito din siya, cause din ng mataas na bacterial count. Okay? And syempre, we are already in modern world. Some of us are using machine already or mechanical na refrigeration. So, there is no excuse already for sour na milk. So, just simply cool it down as possible to around 5 degrees Celsius, and then that will not give you a sour milk. Okay? And then unnatural or foreign objects. So, ito naman yung mga from medicinal agents at saka mga disinfectants that could transfer yung mismong amoy nila doon sa mismong milk. Kaya kailangan walang mga presence ng mga unnatural or foreign objects along with the milking parlor. Okay, so there are specific tests in order for us to assess yung milk quality ng farm level. So I believe that these tests are not new to you anymore kasi you have done your slaughtering na subject and you have already taken this one. So pag sinabi natin na organoleptic test, this is basically yung sensory test. Okay? Walang equipment na required when it comes to organoleptic test, but there should be a skilled person na merong good sense ng smell, good sense ng sight, tsaka good sense ng taste. Kasi syempre, smell, that is for the odor ng milk. yung site, that is if merong mga impurities, merong mga abnormalities, merong clottings. So that is for organoleptic test, and of course the taste. If that is salty, then that is infected with mastitis. Okay? So ano yung usual na ano pala? Ano yung usual na color when it comes to um good quality milk? So dapat kailangan na perfect white para sa good normal na dairy animals milk. And pag ang nakita ninyo doon sa pinagatas ninyo is yellowish na creamy color, that is the colostrum. So hindi pa nasa-suck out yan ng mismong young animal. Ang abnormal is pag yung color ng gatas is pink. Ang usual na indication that one is na-stain siya ng blood pag pink yung color. And then pag blue naman, blue na thin color, usually adulterated siya ng water. And then pag large clots, okay, medyo may buo-buo or may mga flakes, that is milk na being caused by mastitis. Ganon din if merong mga small na white clots or grains, that is also a mastitic milk. And pag may mga visible na dirt and impurities, of course, that is a good indicator na walang hygiene yung mismong nag-milk. Okay? Now we have the clot unboiling test. These are the steps for this one. So, dito sa clot unboiling test, pag maganda kasi yung milk, no? It does not normally coagulate kapag pinakuluan siya. Okay? Pag good quality yung milk, it does not normally coagulate. Pero nagko-curdle tong mga to, itong milk mismo, nagko-curdle siya if it is being contaminated ng mga lactic acid na producing na milk souring na microorganisms. Okay? So yung instability ng pagbo-boil may also be due to the presence ng colostrum or yung increased na salt concentration attributed by the mastitis. Okay? So, the test, okay, yung clot unboiling test, this is used for rapid testing of increased acidity ng milk. Okay? So, through heating ng milk, it will precipitate yung mga proteins ng milk if it is sour. So, this is a rapid test to determine yung increased acidity ng milk. Ang alcohol precipitation test naman, sa test naman na to, alcohol is used to obtain yung clotting. So this is used for rapid detection ng high acidity din in milk. So yung mga proteins sa milk mismo, magiging sour yan due to bacterial fermentation. And yung alcohol will precipitate yung mga proteins of milk if that is sour. And then generally, we have here a comparison of all the three. Now we have the three na animals natin, although yung Mara Buffalo and then the Carabao. So kapag sinabi kasi natin na milk, consider siya as nature's most nearly perfect na food because of the following nutrients. So meron na siyang fat, meron din siyang protein, meron siyang lactose, and then meron din siyang minerals. Okay? So kung i-assess natin, ang pinakamataas yung fat is yung Carabao. Ang pinakamababa is yung goat. Ang protein naman, ang pinakamataas din is Carabao. Okay? And then yung lactose, that is for Mara. And yung mineral content, mas mataas talaga kay Carabao. So all in all, ang mas mataas yung milk composition is on the Carabao side. Okay? Then we have the last one, which is the pasteurization. Ang pasteurization, this is the process of heating the milk for 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes or 72 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds. Okay? Para ma-destroy yung mga harmful organisms na nagkukos ng minimal changes doon sa composition, doon sa flavor and nutritive value ng milk. So these are the pathogens that could be killed doon sa mismong gatas. Okay? And syempre, pag pinasteurize mo siya, para ma-prevent yung growth ng surviving na bacteria sa mga pasteurized na milk, um, upon cooling it down, okay, they should be cooled already or they should be put in a specific na cooling machine para hindi mabuo or walang enhancement ng bacteria, okay, sa mga pasteurized milks. So these are the materials for pasteurization. And I believe and I expect that you have done this one when you were in third year. Now, eto naman is yung mismong kabuuan ng isang whole milk and then ano yung pwede niyang magiging byproducts niya. Okay? So just try to assess this one already. So this now ends my lecture about milking procedure and processes. For our next topic, we will be assessing yung mismong anatomy ng mammary gland para kahit papaano ma-appreciate ninyo yung mismong milking process. Okay? So thank you very much for listening.